So I know we've been practicing multi-view drawings, and so I started by having you hand draft some, and then we moved to scaling. So this is the third and the final one of the hand drafting, at least for now. We may decide to go back to it a little bit later on with some harder parts. But the idea of this one is I'm really going to introduce dimensioning, okay, and this dimensioning is one of those things that I feel like you need to know very, very well, and that I'm gonna slowly chunk it, and this chunk's actually larger than I want, but that's all right. Slowly start chunking it, a way to do it and a way to know it. Dimension, there is, just like the multi-views, there's a right way and a wrong way, okay? And we have a right way, and we're expected to use a right way for uniformity, okay? So we have some rules, okay, and we have some guidelines within it. Because if you notice, on my screen I have rules and I have guidelines, and I'll get to why I call one and one the other. But as we move forward, okay, I'm going to say is I have my line types, okay. So I'm actually going to introduce 4 new line types today. So actually I've just thought of an 8th, so I better update that one. Okay, I just thought of an 8th one. Okay. Okay. First one is extension lines. Okay, extension lines are on a dimension. Okay, and I will show you what the extension lines is. Next, we have dimension lines. Okay, these will make sense these may make sense when you get there. Okay, center marks and center lines, and we have leader lines. Okay, and I'll show you all these different ones. Okay. That happen. So, so our rules of dimensioning. Okay, these are rules. Okay, and we are what's called chain dimension today. So we're not going to do baseline. We're going to do chain. Okay, and I'll show you why it's called chain instead of baseline or datum. So we must have our overall dimensions. Okay, so these rules are what we have to have. Okay, there's no variance on what we want to do. Our overalls we must have, okay? And in every drawing we have, it has 3 overalls, okay? Our first overall that we have is our overall X. How wide is our part? The second overall that we have is how tall, okay? What is our height? Okay? Height is, so we need to get the overall height. The last one we need is the overall depth, okay? The overall depth of our objects. So that's the idea of the different types of overall. So you have height, width, depth, X, Y, Z. Notice I don't use the word length. I don't like to use word length because depth has a length. Height has a length. Width has a length. So that's why I use width, height, and depth. Okay, so those are your 3 overalls. Next one, we got to put on center lines. We got to put on center marks. Okay, center lines and center marks reference circles. Okay, so the circular features. So when we come and I dimension this one, we're going to have to put on center lines and center marks. This one we're not because it doesn't have any. Okay, next we must have location dimensions, and we must have size dimensions. So for example, this feature right here, okay, we need to dimension it so we know what size it is, okay, the distance from here to here, but we have to locate it so we also know how far it is from maybe here to here, or here to here. But we also need the location from here to there, or here to here. We need one or the other. We got to be able to locate. And it's kind of the idea of, if you were thinking about this in a manufacturing process, how do we locate it? Well, we need to know where we start removing material or adding material. And so we've got to locate it. Okay? Must have size. Circles are dimensioned to the center. Okay? So we need to dimension this guy to the center. So when we put in our dimension to him, he always goes to the center. Circles use diameter, that is the symbol for diameter. Okay, arcs use radius, R. Okay, on here on the 3 objects I have, I don't have any arcs. everything I have are circles. So I'm going to use nothing but the diameter one, okay? And so it says that emblem literally means diameter. So here are our guidelines. So our guidelines tell us, they're kind of like rules, but not. So I use guidelines because sometimes we have to break them, okay? And so we try to follow these the best we can, but we have to pick and choose which one we want to break and which one we don't, okay? So the first one is shows contour, okay? Here's an example of shows contour. So if I come in here and I dimension from here to here, okay, here to here, which would be the same as here to here, on this, it's showing that it's a box, and I dimensioned a box. That doesn't show contour. What shows contour is here. Just like this dimension from here to here shows it better here, okay, off this view, off my front view, than my top, because it shows the contour of it, okay? Must be adjacent, okay? Adjacent views. So every width dimension I make, okay, needs to go in between the two views that show width, my front and my top. All dimensions that show my height need to go between my front and my side, because both of them show my height. My depth dimensions are given over here, okay? Given over here so we can see depth, okay? Next, do not to hidden lines, so we don't want a dimension from here to here, okay? We do not want a cross line, so I don't want a dimension coming straight across and then another one coming up. We'll put an X on there and make the part harder to read. Lastly, we need to not go through the shape. So it's the idea of, if I dimension this line, I don't want to take it up. Okay, I want to take it down. Yes, I'm going to have to break the adjacent rule, the adjacent guideline, but that's why it's a guideline and not a rule, so it can be broken if need be. So that is what's happening. So I'm going to real quickly dimension these for you. Okay, now I'm going to tell you I don't have any circular features, so I do not have to do anything. Don't have to put in center marks, don't have to put on center lines, okay? I'm not going to have any leader lines, but I'm going to have extension and dimension lines. So my first rule I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my overalls. So I need to put on my overall dimension, okay? My first overall dimension that I'm going to start with is my width, okay? Boom. I now have my width dimension. I have my overall width. Okay, that is on there. So what happens is that I now know what my width is. Real quickly, these guys here, these lines here, these are extension lines. Okay, these are extension lines. These are dimension lines. Okay, with the value in here. Okay, these have arrows. When you make them, draw them by hand. Just make some sort of indicator that they are an arrow. Here's probably the hardest part. You have to leave a gap. Okay, you have to leave a gap. Okay, you have to leave a gap so that it doesn't look like a new shape. So there's my overall width. Okay, overall height. All right, overall height, and notice it went through the shape. Okay, so I actually I would actually have to come in and modify it. There. That would be proper, okay? Overall width, overall depth. Okay? Overall depth. From here to there. Boom. I now have my overalls on this guy. Okay? My next one, alright. No center lines, no center marks. Now we must have location and sizes. Okay, so now I need to locate and put on my sizes. This is how I do it, guys. Okay, I start with X. Okay, I start with my X dimension, and I say, how do I dimension nothing but my X's? Okay, so what happens is, I actually got to move this guy up because smaller dimensions go on the inside of bigger ones. So if I start right here, okay, if I start right here, I have this dimension and this dimension. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to dimension from here to here, and I'm going to go down. Okay, I'm going to go from here to there. I'm going to go down, and I'm going to make, okay, I'm going to put those two together. Okay, so here's my overall, and here are my other two dimensions, okay, for this feature. I've located the width of the slot, and I've located the width of the slot. I know the size of the width of the slot, and I located it. It's located 2 from the right at a value of 3. Okay? Do not tell me the same information twice. So I do not need to come up here and do it. Okay? I don't have to put in this chain length either, because I know the difference. I know the size of this is the difference between 7, 3, and 2. So real quick, mathematically, we can figure that out pretty quick. That's 2. Okay? So that's a 2 value. So we always need to leave off one chain, one link of the chain. So here's one link, here's the second link. They are in the same level, so they go next to each other. Okay? I'm going to do my other. I have 2 more, okay, 2 more within my X. I need to know the information of this feature here in the X. I need to know that he is located from there. Okay, he's located from there to there. And there to there. Okay, so this object here, okay, is located at 2. Its value of 2, 2.636. I don't know why it has that value. Located from the far right. So now I have 2 more links in my chain, okay, and I've left off 1 bit. There is nothing left in my X dimensioning that I need. Okay, the next one I need is my height. Okay. Now I can't come across here with height. Okay, can't come across here. I gotta come here. So I have my overall. I need to know where this is located, and I need to know this slot. So now I have an issue. I can do it here, or I can do it here. Okay. I have to choose one or the other, okay? I'm actually going to, just so I don't dimension it, leave him inside and put him adjacent. I'm actually going to dimension him from here to there, okay? I've dimensioned a hidden line. Need one more bit of information. I need to know this line here. So dimension, okay? They're on the same level. So boom, okay? I now have this object height dimension. Okay? I got one last dimension to do. I got to do his width. Okay? I got to do his depth. Excuse me. Depth. Okay? Depth is, okay, one here. I need to follow contour. Well, I can't really see the contour from here to here, but I can over here. So I actually have to come over here into my right side view to do this dimension. So, boom, boom, there's the size, okay, and we need to know how far that line is located from here. Boom. So now I know from the back, this cube is located 2 from the back, okay, this cube is located 1 from the far back, and here with my overall, okay. Alright, I'll be back in the next video to continue on, about out of time, so, alright. Thanks, guys.